Are you a dreamer or are you a doer? All of us, I'm almost sure, have dreams. And when I say dreams, I don't mean when you close your eyes to sleep in the night and you have a good visual impression during your sleep. Not only that, some of our dreams come that way, but I'm speaking about an idea, a concept, or something of that nature for some project or activity or something you need to be doing with your life. All of us have dreams, I'm almost sure. Some of us have more dreams than others. Some of us see things, we envision a lot. However, a lot of the dreams remain just that. Many times, God gives you an idea of what you need to do. I just want to refer to a guy by the name of Joseph. Joseph, as recorded in the Bible in Exodus, was a young boy. And God gave him this vision of what his future is supposed to look like. But it was kind of abstract. He saw these stars bowing down to the sun and the moon. And he was such a person that he was so excited about this. He began to tell all his brothers, he told his father, and all these people were so irritated by this boy's enthusiasm and about how his dream activated him to act in this way. All right. Now, by nature, Joseph was a doer, and I'll prove it to you. When you look at the story, for those of you who know the Bible story of Joseph, his brothers took him and threw him down in a well or in a pit because they were so upset with this dreamer. He just annoyed them every time he talked about his dream that his elder brothers, would bow down to him and they took it to mean that they would have been subservient to him. And they were very much irritated. They were disgusted by this kid, the little kid, this little upstart. So they threw him down in a pit and sold him to the Egyptians as a slave. When he got to Egypt, this little dreamer was so engaged in what he was doing. He was not taken up with the misfortune that happened to him. He got to work being himself and doing and making a very good impression wherever he went. He was a slave in Potiphar's house, but Potiphar loved the guy and trusted him so much that he made him in charge of his entire household. Everything in Potiphar's house, Joseph had access to, except his wife, of course. And for those of you who know the story, you know what happened with that. But Potiphar, the Bible said Potiphar was so confident in this guy, the only thing he used to worry about was I wonder what meal I'm going to eat today. That's the only thing he used to worry about. Everything else, Joseph took care of everything else. The laundry, the lawn, the repairing the house, his business, everything Joseph took care of, even though he suffered the misfortune, this little dreamer. He ended up in prison after Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. And again, most of us suffering that misfortune would have been so grudgeful and so negative in that situation that we would not have been able to be comfortable with ourselves and be really productive in that space. But this exemplary guy, this dreamer, he was not preoccupied with his situation. He got to work again, being the best that he could have been in his environment. And it was very clear to me that all this was part of the fulfillment of the dream for this guy, Joseph. So while he was there, he had this opportunity to interpret the king's dream. And because he was identified as a man who was just so gifted, after he interpreted some prisoners' dreams and it came true, the king called for him. He interpreted the king's dreams, and the king said, well, if you could interpret my dreams, then you must be in charge of the project that you tell me. That the interpretation was basically that they will have 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. They need to stop everything in the 7 years of plenty to ensure that they could live well in the 7 years of famine. And this is where Joseph reached to the fullness of what his dream really was about. In this season, his brothers, in the 7 years of famine, his brothers had to journey all the way down to Egypt to get food, where they sold it. Same Mr. Joseph they had to come to. They had to bow themselves down on the ground to the same little upstart that they were very disgusted with. And what this really said to me is that even though we have a dream, right, as Joseph started to work on his dream, there'll be trials, there'll be tribulations, there'll be ups, there'll be downs. So Joseph, never for a moment, even though he went through all this misfortune, never stopped working, never stopped trying to be the best he could be, and being the best and sharing the best with others along the way. Joseph was a dreamer, but he was a doer. He was a doer who had a dream. Unlike many people who are dreamers who do nothing. He constantly kept doing and working until eventually God brought him to the point where his dream was fulfilled. And the same brothers and his father, who were irritated by him, got to realize that, okay, that some 20 odd years later, that this guy was really onto something when he was unfolding this dream earlier. I just want to implore you to keep your focus, keep working, keep striving to be the best you can be. You have your dream, you have your aspirations, but we go through all these phases in life, and a lot of these phases work out to be various levels of training for us to be able to grasp or to walk into the fullness of the dreams or the aspirations we have. So I just want to remind you, each and every one of us, that you were created awesome. And even in the fulfillment of your dream, live that way. Live as though you are awesome.